Good morning, and welcome to the 60th Annual Commencement Ceremony at Governor Livingston High School. I ask you to join me in acknowledging our Board of Education members and District Administrators. Central Office Staff and Board of Education, Dr. Melissa Varley, Mr. Scott McKinney, Mr. Doug Reinstein, Mr. Bill Casano, Dr. Gerard Crisanino, Mr. Michael Diaquila, Mrs. Helen Kirsch, Mrs. Angela Penna, Ms. Christine Riley, Mr. Dante Joya, Mrs. Donna Felizzola, Building Principals, Directors, and Supervisors, Mr. Robert Nixon, Mrs. Tara Oliveira, Mrs. Jackie Bartlett, Dr. Ashley Janasco, Ms. Ann Clifton, Mr. Michael Scara, Ms. Michelle Gardner, Mr. Frank Geiger, Mrs. Grace Acosta, Ms. Patty Gasparini, Mr. John Morsow, Mrs. Jessica Nardi, Mrs. Ann Corley Hand, Mr. James Finley, Mr. Stephen Hopkins, Mr. Kevin Mora, Ms. Lori Scott, and Mr. Drew Ziobro.
Mr. McKinney, Mr. Reinstein, Dr. Crisanino, parents, family, friends, faculty, and guests, I welcome you all to the Governor Livingston High School graduation program and would like to ask you to please rise and direct your attention to the flagpole where the ceremonial claymore has been placed into the rock. This tradition symbolizes the start of our graduation ceremony. The students will now be led onto the field by the senior class advisors, Mr. Daniel McGovern and Mrs. Megan Ranitz. Graduates, please rise. And guests, please remain standing as Sophia Zarelli will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Then, please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Macy Campano.
Good morning. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. At this time, Senior Class President Macy Campano will present the class gift to school.
On behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to present the senior class gift. This year, under these unique circumstances, we have decided to plant a tree on the GL campus. Recently, GLHS has become the first high school in New Jersey that is also a national arboretum. This tree will represent the class of 2020 on this campus and be a symbol of the strength that the class of 20 demonstrated through these very trying times. Finally, as we say goodbye to Governor Livingston, the class of 2020 offers a special goodbye to our retiring staff members, Mr. William Ayers and Mrs. Deborah Thettinger. We thank them for making Governor Livingston a special place and wish them a long and happy and healthy retirement.
Thank you, Macy. Please welcome Samuel Bass, who will present the commencement address to the class of 2020.
Hello? There we go. Greetings, Dr. Varley, Mr. Nixon, Mrs. Oliveira, Mrs. Bartlett, and other faculty, family, and friends. Congratulations to the class of 2020, not only for graduating, but for making it through one of the most difficult situations in your life. I was going to begin my speech with a summary of the events that happened on and after March 13th, but we all lived them, and I know I don't want to relive them. However, I would like to offer some insight on our less than ideal situation. When school was officially canceled for the year, I was devastated. It felt as though someone had torn out the final pages on my childhood before I could record any new memories. I thought that I had been cheated out of what every senior deserves, which is a fun year with little work and a lot of memories. Especially for me, as I was getting ready for a special season on the baseball field. I was upset and, frankly, a little confused. Why us? Why must this pandemic be happening while we're seniors? What did we do to deserve this? My mindset quickly flipped, and if you're still feeling down in the dumps, I suggest taking the same perspective. My final pages were torn out, but pages in my book still remained. I still have great memories and bonds that will last a lifetime. I have made my closest friends in high school from Berkeley Heights and Mountainside, and this pandemic will never stop my kids from calling them uncle. We were built for this. A lot of us were born into the New York area right after 9/11. The country was tense, confused, and scared. But we were raised and we prevailed. The COVID-19 pandemic can be described using the same adjectives, but we will prevail and we will come out stronger. So to answer the question of why, it's because we were made to survive difficult situations. We are the strongest class in the history of GL, and this setback will only drive us to work harder and come out on top. So now that that's out of the way, a new question remains. Now what? The answer? Make a difference. But how? A lot of people plan on making a lot of money and helping charity. That works perfectly. Or you could be famous and create a positive role model, become a positive role model for the youth. That works too. However, realistically, neither goal is one that everyone in the class can achieve. In no way am I saying don't reach for the stars, but if you fall short, there are still ways to make the world a better place. One of the finest men I have ever known was not especially famous or rich, but he made his mark on the world and will be remembered forever. That man was John Hopek, father of our classmate Peyton. Mr. Hopek always put others before himself, whether on or off the field or court. He had a contagious smile and always knew how to make anyone feel better when they were down. Whether or not he knew it, he made the world a better place by bringing people together and making sure they were okay before he was. Mr. Hopek was battling his second stint of cancer when I turned 13, and in the middle of treatments, he made sure to come to my bar mitzvah. I know he did not know how important that was to me, but seeing his face in a crowd of people giving me a thumbs up eased my nerves and made me incredibly happy. I plan on taking a similar approach that Mr. Hopek did to life. I believe everyone is put on earth with a purpose to make it a better place. The way I will do so, and I recommend you all following suit, is by making others happy. Even the slightest act of kindness can travel further than you will ever realize. On that note, I'd like to give thanks. Thank you to my teachers and staff at GL. As a little freshman, I was shy and scared to enter a new situation, but everyone welcomed me with open arms, and I blossomed into an outgoing person because I felt like a part of the GL community from the minute I walked into the school. I'd like to thank my baseball coaches for encouraging me to be the best player on the field and the best person off of it. My teammates for picking me up when I felt down. Even if I didn't want to at the time, you all made me laugh and smile. I'd like to thank my friends. I cannot think of a better 11 guys to spend my childhood with than the friend group I formed. I'd also like to thank my family, Mom, Dad, and brother Dan. I'm not sure why they wanted me to put them in there, but I put them in there anyway. Just kidding. You guys are my backbone, always keeping me in check and making sure I do my best no matter what I do. Lastly, I'd like to thank all of you, the graduating class of 2020. You have all shaped not only me, but each other into the wonderful individuals we all are today. We can do anything we set our minds to, and I'm excited to see what everyone does in the future. I would like to end with a song lyric from Puff the Magic Dragon. The lyric goes, "Dragon lives forever, but not so little boys." The meaning is that eventually, everyone outgrows the imaginary dragon in their minds, as they outgrow being a little boy or girl and they grow up. Although it seemed like this happened too fast for us, always find the child within you and always cherish the moments you have, because as we learned the hard way, they can be taken away from us in the blink of an eye. But that will never stop us, because together we can make the world a better place no matter what comes in the way. Good luck to the class of 2020. It really has been a pleasure to learn and make memories amongst you all. I can't wait to see what the future holds for each and every one of us and see what challenge we beat next. Class of 2020, we can do anything. Thank you.
Great job, Sam. Thank you, Sam. That was a wonderful job. Parents, families, friends, Board of Education members, faculty, administration, and our honored guests. Welcome to the 60th Governor Livingston High School Commencement Ceremony. Today is the most unique of our ceremonies in GL's 60 years. We honor our 2020 graduates and award them the diplomas for meeting the standards established by the State of New Jersey and the Berkeley Heights Board of Education. Through hard work and dedication, our students have far exceeded these requirements and expectations during their time together through the schools in their respective school districts. Today, we are lucky to be together in person as we celebrate all that our seniors have already accomplished to this point and move our focus on what great things these students have to offer the world. I want to extend my thanks to the faculty and staff here at Governor Livingston High School. They do a great job working with our students and support them in so many ways. This year presented challenges unlike any other, and their effort was nothing short of amazing. I'd also like to thank our groundskeeper, Antonio, Johan, the head custodian, and his team for all that they do. We have a beautiful 43-acre campus, and they worked extremely hard to make our campus look great for this ceremony. I want to recognize our superintendent, Dr. Melissa Varley, who unfortunately, due to quarantine rules, cannot be here with us. I would also like to recognize Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Scott McKinney, and the School Business Administrator, Mrs. Donna Felizzola. Finally, I'd like to thank my administrative team, who skillfully persevered throughout this school year. They are amazing. Please join me in thanking Mrs. Oliveira, Mrs. Bartlett, Dr. Janasco, Ms. Hayes, who served as the interim for Dr. Janasco, and Ms. Clifton. I'm extremely lucky to have this incredible group of professionals to work with. The class of 2020 has pushed itself to achieve at unprecedented levels. They are smart, they are athletic, they are talented, and they are involved. However, perhaps most importantly, they have set the bar high for future generations of Highlanders to live up to. They were able to find success academically during the midst of a global pandemic. More students than ever before in a single year at GLHS participated in AP exams. Several members of this class also boasted perfect SAT or ACT scores. Our Consumer Bowl team continued their dominance over Union County by bringing home the title once again. Our theater students tackled sensitive subject matter when they presented The Incomplete Life and Random Death of Molly Denholtz this past fall. Ever conscious to be supportive of their peers, they seized this opportunity to educate others by teaming with our counseling department to offer an outreach session called Whispers Inside These Walls, where students were invited to come and discuss some of the sensitive subject matter contained in the show. In an effort to give back to the school and community, Trend presented one of the most memorable Days of Realization events in recent memory, while other students did their part in making sandwiches for the Market Street Pantry. Athletically, the Highlanders won division championships in boys cross country, girls soccer, and girls basketball, celebrated county and district champions in wrestling, and once again dominated the girls' indoor track circuit. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize that we have in this class a 3-time New Jersey Gatorade Girls Track Athlete of the Year in Victoria Van Riel. Perhaps most impressively, while in the midst of a global pandemic, students from our school banded together to stand up for what is right and took the fight against social injustice right here on their own doorstep. Student leaders, along with our Social Activism Club and Saga Club, worked diligently to share their important messages with other students, staff, administration, and community leaders. These students are special. The class of 2020 is and always will be special. This class has demonstrated great persistence and perseverance through the most challenging of times. But this toughness and these core values will be tested now as the class of 2020 prepares to leave our campus and our communities as they enter into the world. To that end, I would like to share a quick, true story. Graduates, 28 years ago, when I was sitting where you are today, I would soon be starting a new summer job, one that I held for the next 5 summers. I worked as a landscaper, cutting lawns and creating gardens to earn extra money for college. As you can imagine, with that experience, when I bought my own home, I was excited to apply the skills that I had developed on my own property. In particular, I planted hydrangeas on both sides of my front porch. You see, I love to spend time at the Jersey Shore, and I've always admired how beautiful the flowers on these plants are. To my great disappointment, as tall as they grew year after year, they never grew any flowers. For over a decade, everybody else who grew them in my neighborhood had amazing blue, violet, purple flowers year after year, including my neighbor Olga, but not me. Frustrated and disappointed, I asked her after the summer of 2018, what am I doing wrong? Why does she have these incredible flowers and I can't grow a single one? She shared a few tips with me, including that the soil in our area needs to be more acidic and that I should save my used coffee grinds and sprinkle them onto the soil. The entire winter and spring, I saved my coffee grinds and I spread them over the soil and over the hydrangeas, and when the spring turned into summer, nothing. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? I dumped more coffee over these things than you could imagine and had no payoff. But I continued to ask questions. Turns out, I shouldn't be doing other things, such as trim them each year. So I didn't trim them, and while we're home in the midst of a global pandemic and in a time of great civil unrest, I had resigned myself to the fact that I was just going to rip them out as we're preparing to do some work on our house. I stepped out of side of my front door one day to take a break from work and noticed these amazing buds covering my hydrangeas. I saw my neighbor and asked her if those were what I thought they were. And sure enough, my plants were loaded with soon-to-be flowers. And by the time they bloomed, there'd be well over 200 on the 2 plants together. So why did I share this story? Persistence and perseverance. It had paid off. Much like the class of 2020 had to during the most unique and challenging of senior years. You see, it's very easy to just accept the result, to let circumstances dictate your outcome. But what if that isn't acceptable to you? What if you aren't just okay with the state of social injustice in our country or with just allowing a global pandemic to affect your life? Will you continue to accept just trying the same old things? Or will you change your approach? Will you ask for help and will you seek the advice of others? Will you choose to feed your soil differently as you do your part to make the world a better place? I had to change my approach in order to change my result. It took a long time, but I wasn't successful because I gave up. I was successful because I was willing to change my approach and what I thought I knew. I hope all of you can look inside yourselves, consider your approach, and continue to persist and demonstrate grit as you navigate through a very challenging world. Graduates, you are ready to take on this challenge. You have shown us all that you are resilient and stronger than you know. We are extremely proud of you and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Please remember that you are always Highlanders and that your school will always be here for you. We look forward to seeing how each of you will go forward and make our world a better place. We're counting on you. Congratulations to the class of 2020. So at this time, as is appropriate for this school year, we would now like to virtually share Dr. Varley's remarks, who was unable to be with us today in person.
Welcome, everyone, especially our graduates. Welcome to your 2020 graduation celebration. I really wish I was there with you today, looking into your eyes and shaking your hands. Unfortunately, that is impossible since I travel to one of the states that is a mandatory quarantine according to the governor's order. When graduation ceremonies were canceled earlier this year, we could not imagine sending you off without celebrating this amazing milestone. I am so pleased that we have been able to come together and celebrate you and your accomplishments in person. There are so many people to thank. The Board of Education for all of their support. The professional staff for all of their hard work over the years helping you realize this moment. Mr. Nixon and his team for executing and planning the ceremony. Your parents and families who loved, supported, and guided you through the good times and the bad. And finally, a big thank you to you, the graduates of the class of 2020, for your accomplishments, perseverance, and Highlander pride. Every teacher knows the power of the teachable moment. It is when the unplanned intersects the classroom or the athletic field, and a teacher or coach has the ability to drive home instruction. The most important teachable moments are those that allow us as educators to impart critical life lessons that will stay with our students forever. As disappointing and discouraging as the last several months of your senior year have been, it has also been the quintessential teachable moment. COVID-19 has shown us how fragile the tranquility of our everyday lives can be. It has shown us the preciousness of normalcy. It has thrown into stark disbelief the inequality and injustice experienced by so many of our fellow citizens. But it has also shown us the heroism of the human spirit, the potential of love to redeem ourselves and others, and the power of a collective action. COVID-19 has changed our world forever, but it is within your grasp to help forge a better future. Years from now, I hope you can look back on these difficult times and know that you held to unchanging principles of respect, dignity, hope, and perseverance, and they helped you make history. I look forward to hearing about it. It is now my distinct privilege to affirm the recommendation of the faculty of Governor Livingston High School and the endorsement of Principal Robert Nixon, certifying that the students seated before us have met the requirements of the Berkeley Heights Board of Education and the state of New Jersey for the conference of the state-endorsed high school diploma with all its rights and privileges. Berkeley Heights Board of Education President, Mr. Doug Reinstein, I now present the 2020 graduates of Governor Livingston High School for the award of their diplomas. Congratulations.
I would now like to introduce Mr. Doug Reinstein, President of the Board of Education.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. What a challenging last few months this has been. This class has navigated uncharted waters, requiring new ways to learn, interact with friends, and even pick up a cup of coffee. But you adapted, you adjusted, and showed enormous resilience. Those challenges did not sink this class. On the contrary, you rose to the occasion and transformed the remote learning challenge into opportunities that you experienced, embraced, worked to solve, and broke out of your comfort zone doing so. Simply put, the greatest challenges presented the greatest opportunities in which you, the class of 2020, persevered. Wilma Rudolph once said, "Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence on the human spirit." We're all the same in this notion. The potential for greatness lives within each of us. Your achievements have been and will continue to be predicated on you believing in yourself and knowing with certainty that what you want is indeed possible. This class has already started. You reimagined the second half of your senior year through remote learning. Many of you spoke out for change during the walkout after the Parkland, Florida shootout. And several students were instrumental in organizing the Black Lives Matter March recently in Berkeley Heights. Without a doubt, this class is a group of young men and women who have no problem entering the arena. You'll achieve great successes and learn a great deal from your triumphs and your defeats. In closing, I received an email from a parent recently with a quote from Gregory Williams I thought was very appropriate for this year's senior class. "On the other side of the storm is the strength that comes from having navigated through it. raise your sails and begin. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, we wish you success, happiness, and the best of luck in wherever you choose to sail. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Reinstein. At this time, I would like to ask Student Council President Sophia Zarelli to come to the podium. She will be joined shortly by Senior Class President Macy Campano. They will read the names of each of our graduates.
Aoife Rouse. Jordan Franco. Scott Byer. Allison Schwartz. Anam Rahim. Ferdinando Mello. Joseph Rowenbeck. Colleen Q. Luke Lindano. Gauthami Morkanot. Caitlin Purcell. Jesse Solano. Ryan King. Ryan Lee. Macy Campano.
Tamar Novik. Mark Marino. Rachel Mustachi. Robert Wargoski. Matthew Katz. Alexander Janiak. George Garcia. Bethany Frith. Michael Dominguez. Danielle Curtis. John Giftopoulos. Gia Cercelli. Pranav Kasula. Blake Johnson. Lucas Rudzinski.
Dean Safey. Gianna Mara. Amaya Rains. Allison Quinn. Mackenzie Lloyd. Nicholas Matchin. Christian Matchin. Alex Pupo. Jillian Meltzer. Alexandra Matthews. Amy Sherman. Allison Shacatano. Amanda Polizzi. Krista Parisi. Paige Phillips.
Skylar Dowling. Julia Shea. Jessica Rowland. Rachel Green. Katie Filiacci. Ryan Duswalt. Domenico De Luca. Mario Coronado. Josephine Kwan. Sean Marone. Andrew Siska. Sarah McGlynn. Joseph Fabio. Victoria Van Riel.
Brandon Woods. Dakar Williams. Daniela Aiello. Mackenzie Kalishman. Jessica Zhao. Charlotte Roeder. Lauren Montero. Justin Conklin. Jessica Henriquez. Francis Tawa. Marissa Young. Jackson Osborne. Ariel Noguera. Caitlin Escott.
John Walsh. Enchan Singh. Catherine Lawrence. Connor Pierce. Michelle Lenahan. John Silva. Joseph Scalora. Olivia Internosha. Christina Internosha. Alexander Delargy. Jacob Roth. Arden Foster. Kristen Cabe. Benjamin Cook. Kenderly Robert.
Jessica Aponte. Carla Arcasetta. Madison Stein. Amber Schultz. Alexander Becky. Victoria Becky. Jacob Titus. Robert Clapsey. Amanda Antonelli. Veronica Chujnowska. William Coyle. Brandon Matos. Erica Kolbach. Alexandra Buono. Joseph Antonucci.
Raul Carhayano. Brendan Curran. Elena Robinson. Sean Pyle. Scott Pyle. Patrick Murphy. Ryan Harder. Raina Terendash. Natalia Ayus. Jack Beffler. Daniel Timmerman. Aiden McGuire.
How about that? Special thanks to the Santori family and Garden State Fireworks for making that possible for us today. So at this time, as we conclude, I would like to just remind you that any families and students wishing to take any pictures after the ceremony, we have a photo area staged behind the high school on the field where the senior picnic was yesterday. There are 3 backgrounds that families can use to take pictures together on. And finally, on behalf of Dr. Varley, Mr. McKinney, the Board of Education, and the faculty of Governor Livingston High School, I would like to congratulate the class of 2020 of Governor Livingston. One more round of applause for the class of 2020.